Hello everyone and welcome to part 1 of Hellhound deku. And yes, she will look like this. To give some background and how she came to be. Inko is the former #1 underground hero known as Cerberus, which is also coincidentally her quirk, which is stronger than Izumi's. I know, going against the whole quirk singularity theory thing that has been proved to be true in the anime and manga. Well, more manga. In the anime, it'll come on later. Anyway, Hisashi, how do I say this? He has impressive stamina, but that was not enough to save him from Inko's heats. Because, yes, I'm making that a thing. Mirko and Ryukyu also suffer from them. Or enjoy them, I guess. The ship will be a femboy Shoto Todoroki. Speaking of the Todoroki family, Enji is still abusive. But it's double that. On top of that, he is homophobic. Because fuck you, I'm bringing in more gay and lesbian ships. They're going to be very prevalent in my Monster Girl deku what ifs. And if you didn't notice, it is very much the main ship for my Xenomorph deku is a lesbian ship. Because fuck you. Now, the Todorokis know the Midoriyas because Inko and Rei are good friends. And the Inko, Rei, and Mitsuki are all good friends. Bakugo is more of a delinquent in this. He likes picking fights, but he is nowhere near as bad. He's like canon Bakugo, but only slightly, without the whole suicide baiting thing. For all the quirkless people that Bakugo has met, he has made their lives a whole lot better. Hell, he even encourages them to become heroes, but tells them to train their asses off to do so, and that he'll see them within the top 100. Or he tells them to be like Izumi, who's going to be an underground hero. Now, Izumi has a good couple months on Bakugo, so she's technically a year older than him, but not really. They'll still be in the same class and everything. But, you know the drill about how that goes. Their relationship is kind of brother-sister. Bakugo is the annoying little brother who's always getting into trouble, and Izumi has to come and discipline him. Although he's not really getting into trouble on purpose. He's more doing so that way he can see how much stronger he's gotten. He regularly challenges Izumi once a year. And it's always on the last day of school. He always does something to get her attention. And she's known as the hellhound of the school, which is coincidentally her quirk. And if you're wondering what happened to Hisashi Midoriya, death by snoo snoo. Literally. This did make Inko sad. She blamed herself because she always tries to hold back when she's in heat. Because she could very well kill Hisashi. But she had lost track in the pleasure. And that is how Izumi was born. Yeah. Izumi does go through these heats too. Both her and Inko go through these. Inko less so because she's older and can power through them and doesn't need to go to a special facility. Izumi, however, does and takes online classes during that time. I mean, she wouldn't really go after Bakugo because she's just kind of like, this is brother. I will not mate with him because that would be illegal. Shoto, on the other hand, he do be looking kind of thick. And yeah, the entire Todoroki family, out of spite for Endeavor, is either lesbian or bisexual in the case of Rei, lesbian in the case of Fuyumi, and gay in the case of Natsuo and Dabi. Dabi is actually an underground hero, because yes. And him and Eraserhead kind of have a thing. They haven't exactly married yet, but they will. Fuyumi, tomboy Fuyumi, dating Mirako and Ryukyu. And Fuyumi is the middle. And Mirako is a complete bottom, and Ryukyu is just a top. Cause what's ice and a rabbit gonna do against a dragon? Let's say Fuyumi's the middle. And Natsuo, fuck it, he's with Mike. Because yes. And you know what? Midnight's just kind of there. She's in a relationship with Miss Joke. Because fuck you. Yes. And let's see, what else do I need for the background? Oh yeah. Oboro Shirakumo. Well, he'll be in the relationship with Aizawa and Dabi. But not yet. You'll see. He'll eventually get broken out of all the bullshit that happened to him that made him Kurogiri. Because if hellhounds and Cerberus are good at anything, it is tracking down souls. And that's part of the hellhound quirk and the Cerberus quirk. Yeah, if you can hear the fan going in my room, it's humid as shit where I live. On top of that, it's raining hard as hell. It's gonna be hard to get to work tomorrow. Whatever. And let's see what else happens. Yes. The Todorokis spend most of their time with the Midoriyas. Inko is, like, bi. And she has no lean. Rei is also bi, but has more of a female lean. Inko tops. Every time. Because Rei eventually divorces Enji. By the time I'm gonna get into the what if, don't worry, I will. There's just more background in middle school. By the time middle school rolls around, Rei has divorced Enji, and with the help of Inko, keeps the kids. And she keeps them far away from him. Now, because Izumi is 2 months older than Canon Izuku, and Canon Katsuki, she also, She's also a very quick learner and knows a lot of things that people her age usually wouldn't. Like, by the time she was in 5th grade, she was already learning college level stuff and had learned everything from kindergarten to, I want to say, sophomore year of college or second year of college, depending on where you live. I'm just going off of American standards, really. Except for like UA stuff. And in this, UA will be a college. You'll see why later. In all of the Monster Girl decus, UA will be a college. And this one is actually going to be my more light-hearted Monster Girl decus. Eh, but you can't have one of my stories without there being trauma. So yeah, the trauma that happened was not really to the Midoriyas, but more for the Todorokis. And yeah. And for Natsuo's relationship, Mike tops because sound boy. And for Eraser Dobby, I'll decide on that later. I'll leave that up to some friends of mine. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah, no, Izumi, by the time she's in the 5th grade, has dealt with Enji. Because when she was in 4th grade, Ray and Enji had that divorce. And she had known about a lot that was going on in that household. And she also did kind of help. Because she can go into a more hound-like form. This is her more human form. This is the form that she's in every day. And she usually wears sweaters and the yoga pants. Because those are the only things that really wouldn't catch on fire with her. Because parts of her body are almost always on fire. More around the sensitive bits. Along with, like, her back. And along, like, the fur area of her body. The fur areas of her body. Those are scorching hot. Like, your average your average day in the Arizona heat and during the summer kind of day. Mixed with Florida heat and Southern California heat. Because, yeah, it do get hot there. And here. So, yeah. Those are the only things that wouldn't catch fire. And she wears them regularly. And her bed is made specifically to handle extreme heat. It's Inko's old bed when Inko was a child. Because, yes. Now, Ray does eventually get with Inko. When Izumi, Shoto, and Tatsuki are all in 5th grade. As I'm gonna keep it real, those two kind of did have feelings for each other on the down low, but kept it hidden because Enji. And then it all happened. Natsuo, Ray, Toya, and Fuyumi all came out at the same time and said, "Oh, yeah, and you're not our dad anymore, legally." And they all left. And Ray left a little surprise on the table, which was the divorce papers. And by then, Fuyumi was with her then wives, and Natsuo went on a date with Mike, and Toya went to Aizawa's place. And Ray with Shoto went to Inko's. And yes, it wasn't really a full adoption of the siblings on Inko's part, because then that would just be weird. Although all the Todoroki siblings took up Rei's last name, Rei's maiden name, which was, I think, Himura. And at that time, Inko had went to her maiden name, which is Shimura. Because Nana got with a guy that had a quirk that was called Hell's species, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Kotaro's quirk was called Demon. Destruction Demon, which then made Tomuru's actual legitimate quirk called Decay. Although it was weaker at the time. Kotaro understood this because before his quirk was just called Demon. And then it became Destruction Demon over some time, because fuck you, Kotaro, good Kotaro in this what if. Kotaro is also an underground hero. He kept going. Because he wants to make sure that his wife and kids can live out their lives in peace. Hana does not die in here. She lives. Because Tenko's quirk came in when he was grabbing some tissues. And the tissues in his hand turned to dust. He panicked a bit, and then at that time Kotaro came home and saw what had happened, and quickly calmed his son down. Yeah, no. All for One does attempt to get Kotaro and Inko and All Might all at the same time, because they were out at the mall hanging out as, like, family, I guess, because you cannot convince me that Nana did not basically adopt Toshinori Yagi. You can't. Anyway. Where was I? Oh, yes. Inko, Toshinori, and Kotaro are at the mall. All for One appears, and I'm not gonna lie, they basically beat this man within an inch of his life. After he said, well, after I'm done with you three, I'm going to find your children. And I am going to break the girls and turn the boy into my own personal murder slave. After they said that, shadows would appear over Inko's and Kotaro's eyes. Inko's quirk being Cerberus, which would allow her to split into 3 people, all with varying strengths. They would beat him into the ground. they would not go full power because if they did, the entire mall would cease to be. Instead, all three of the Incos uppercutted him. Kotaro appeared and kicked him into the mountain ranges, where no one was at the time. You see where this is going. All three Incos and Kotaro appear over All for One, and All for One gets his ass beaten into the ground. With technically four of them, punching him full power. The mountains needed to be remapped a bit. That's all I'll say. He was very lucky to escape that alive. His scars were worse. He had scars all over his body. He looked like Mr. Potato Head on stair. What happened to him in canon was nothing compared to here. He was covered in burn marks. So basically, you take canon Dabi. No, you take manga Dabi. That's what he looked like. He was lucky to have a regeneration quirk that could help him with it. He was teleported by Kurogiri. And he was put into like one of the vats that holds the Nomu. And he was barely alive. And Garaki quickly got to work on repairing his master. Which he did. He did an okay job at it. He still looks human, but is covered head to toe in scars. His hair is gonna take a while to grow back. And now we just cut to Izumi and Katsuki in fucking middle school. Shoto unfortunately cannot go to their middle school because Endeavor made it so that way he can't really escape the school that he's in, no matter what he does, no matter what Inko or Rei or Kotaro do, no matter what they try to do, it won't work because Endeavor's the number 2 hero in Spotlight, and his divorce has not yet come out to the people, and Endeavor is making sure that it never will. And he does an okay job at it. A lot of although people like Stain and others that hunt down fake heroes do find out. But yeah, Stain also finds out more than just that Rei and the rest of the Todoroki family left him. He also finds out why. And he tracks down Inko and Rei and Fuyumi and Natsuo and Toya and Shoto, and asks, "Hey, do you want me to go kill this guy? Because he sounds like an asshole." And I was like, I mean, no. But if you do, we won't stop you. And that is not how he dies, actually. The way he dies is a lot more painful. He actively tries to get Ray back, though, and fails miserably at it. Like, every time he goes over to Inko's house demanding that his wife be unbrainwashed from her demonic ways, he just straight tells him, I didn't do anything. This is your doing. Because you thought that training your children to be soldiers was a good idea. And she just looks at him and is like, Done. You would do the same thing. And she scrounges her face in disgust, saying, There's no way in hell I'd put my daughter through what you've done to your kids. I'm not a monster. Just the guardian of hell. And she was known as the guardian of hell to like every other villain that existed. Now, just because she stopped hero work does not mean she stopped working. No. After she retired from hero work, she became the warden of Tartarus. And she made sure every villain that had any connection to All for One was put into separate sections of the prison. She made sure all of them were in separate spaces. She was making sure that none of them got to see the light of day. They were all put into separate spots in the prison, and made sure that none of them could get into any form of contact with anyone else. They had court canceling things up the wazoo. They were not escaping. There was no way for them to escape. She was not going to be light with them. And she wasn't. She made sure that they never got in. They only got food and water. And she made sure that they were interrogated daily for the locations of All for One's bases. It wouldn't be torture, just interrogation. Now, just because she interrogated them, she actually personally interrogated all for One's goons. And when I say personally, I mean she was there and everything. She made sure that they got answers. There was no keeping any form of information from her. She got everything that they needed. She even interrogated some of the MLA, Meta Liberation Army people. And had gotten some information, but not like where their bases are.
She knew that they had people everywhere, but not who they were. Apparently, they were more scared of Redestro than they were of her, which is not a good thing to be. They should be more scared of her than Redestro. Because Redestro can't save them. No one would be able to save them. Now, Redestro does have her eyes, his eyes on Inko, because she does have people in Tartarus. Why do I keep on saying she? Fucking different what if. Fucking Redestro keeps tabs on Inko. Like, when I say tabs, I mean he makes sure that she doesn't get anything more out of any of his people. He doesn't have them killed. He just makes sure that they can't talk. Like, he makes sure that everything that they know is outdated.
And he does a pretty good job at it, but nothing stays hidden from Inko for long. She eventually finds out, but that's not for this day. Today, we covered middle school, more specifically, the last day, going on to the 10 months of training. Yeah, no. When, cause I'm gonna say that, cause fuck it. Izumi and Katsuki are not in the same classroom. And she's known as the Hound. And for good reason. She scares even the principal. Which is not easy considering the principal was an old hero. No, it's not Gran Torino. Though that would be a good that would be a good twist. I'm gonna use that for another story. Huh. Jeez, I could come up with stories within stories. Huh. Anyway. A lot of things happen. Come to the last class and everything that happens. The teacher walks in and he says, "Okay, time for you all to fill out these applications so that you know what you're gonna do in the future." Oh, who am I kidding? You all want to be heroes, don't you? And he'd throw the papers in the air. And then he'd say, "Okay, class, settle down, settle down." Now, Akatsuki is in the class, and there is a quirkless person in the class taking the place of Deku. I won't really give this person a name yet, though they will be going to UA. But they won't make it into the hero course. They won't make it into 1A, they'll be in 1B. Now, this quirkless kid is decently built. He's not stupid strong. He's at Bakugo level with Bakugo without using his quirk level strong. Manga Bakugo before his whole near death experience. And he won't be getting one for all. One for all is going to be given to Mirio. And Mirio is a good candidate. And I'm also going to say, because fuck all that bullshit, the quirk singularity theory is just that, a theory. It's not even a thing in this universe. Because I really hate that. Because, I mean, if you're gonna make someone like Airy or Stars and Stripes having two of the most broken quirks to ever exist, then, yeah, no, I'm not gonna follow those rules. Things happen in canon. Katsuki does like cause kind of a ruckus. The rest of the class does say that, oh, such and such can't get into UA. He's quirkless. They're gonna allow someone like him in. Bakugo loses his shit at that. He grabs that person, slams them down on the desk, and says, "The fuck did you say? He can do whatever the fuck he wants. If he doesn't make it into UA, okay then. That just means he has to get stronger. But he stands more of a chance than any of you freaks." And he'd let them go. But not before sending an explosion at them. That would just be cause to say, "Get the hound down here." I know, he does this every year. But please, just do it. I honestly want to see the fight this time. Last two times I had to get home. It was a family emergency. Okay, yeah, I know, I've heard. She wins every year. But honestly, I want to see this. I also want to know why. I was never told. Okay. You, uh, After that, a bone-chilling howl could be heard throughout the school. And Katsuki would kind of shiver at this, and after hearing that howl for so many damn times in his life, he's gotten used to it. Now, the fight goes as you would expect between a hellhound and a human. But Bakugo, being Bakugo, is too damn determined to stay down after he gets knocked on his ass. And they fight to knock out. Every time Bakugo gets stronger and stronger. But so does Izumi. And she always learns new tricks. And an old dog teaching a new dog some old tricks is the kind of how it goes in her household. Which does happen a whole lot. And then that all just ends. She carries him to the nurse's office. Nurse just says, "Do you really have to go so rough on him?" "I don't know. Can he know just to stay down when he's knocked on his ass?" "You're right. Okay." Nurse would use her healing quirk, And and then Izumi would carry Katsuki home, which he'd wake up about halfway. Like, right when the sludge villain shows up, sludge villain does try to take Izumi because he's a bit rapey. Yeah, no, he finds out what 350 what 50 degrees Fahrenheit feels like. Yeah. Uh, if you want to convert that to Celsius or whatever you use wherever you live, again, I'm American. I use American units because, I don't know, America's different. I apologize. And things go as usual. Despite her soft looking demeanor, she can be very, terrifying. Anyway, that goes as it is. And if you can see all the pictures at the bottom, yeah, those are future what ifs. Or what ifs that are ongoing. Alucard. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for middle school. She gets home. She's very much a soft dom to Todoroki. Because at this point, they're like 3 months into the relationship. They got into a relationship after Izumi's heat, coincidentally. Like, because heats are the way that they are, there is a higher chance that she could get pregnant from it. Same thing with Inko. And that can kind of happen. Because Inko is a Cerberus, she can change her gender at will. Unlike Izumi, who can't. So yeah. Sometimes Izumi will have a mom and a mom, sometimes she'll have a mom and a dad. So yeah. Take that how you will. And there might be a child between Inko and Ray. I'll leave that up to you. Also, please do give me names. I'm horrible at giving names. This is why I use pre-existing characters, or in the case of my Oryx deku, which I will get back on, by the way. I just feel like I need to get at least 1 to 4 parts of my other what ifs out there. Then I'll get back to it. But yeah, don't worry. It's not canceled or anything. It's just on hiatus until everything has at least a part 1. And yeah. 10 months goes as close to canon as it can be. Izumi, Katsuki, and Shoto do meet the big 3. And they're just kind of like, okay, these are our siblings now. They honestly mistake Todoroki for a girl. Because he do got them, female features. And yeah, that's it. That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, or dislike. I don't care. Give me criticism. I'm open to it. Please. I want to know if you like the video or not. Leave your criticism in the comments. Subscribe if you actually like my videos. Go watch my first few videos. Watch them all. I don't care. Like them, dislike them, do what you will. Give me more what if ideas. Do be yourself. I don't care. If you do subscribe, thanks. If you don't, whatever. I'm not here for the subs. I'm here to just put my stories out on the internet. That'll be it. See